What's up, guys? Joel Valley from Media Glitch here, and today we have an awesome stream for you guys and an awesome topic. I am not alone, though. However, we have a special guest. Our special guest is Media Glitch's own Dylan the Villan. Dylan, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it really has. But I'm happy to be back.
Yes, it's good to have you back. We also have the Radical Reggie. There is right there.
How you guys doing?
And then we got the Kag Man. What?
Oh, what's up, everybody? We are back in effect. 1 week layoff, crashing back on.
That's right. Yes, we took a 1 week off, and we're back. And tonight's topic that we're going to talk about is games that we think are overrated. Now, we'd have no idea. I don't know what Dylan picked. We kind of think we're picking the same thing. I don't know. Dylan tends to think that, but a game that is overrated. We got people in the chat as well. Again, if you're not watching us on Saturday nights over on Twitch, you need to come. We discuss topics. We play video games. You're not going to want to miss it. Go right now. Follow us because I can see right now people they're trolling us. They're saying Dead by Daylight because they know we play that all the time. Blue X says an overrated game is The Last of Us 2. Fortnite, stuff like that. So, we'll talk to you guys after we give our opinions, and I think people are gonna be mad at us. Isn't that what we're thinking?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yep.
People might be mad, and so we're gonna and anyway, so go follow and let us know in the comment section below what game you think is overrated. What game do people? They just gush all over, they love it, and you're just like, why? This is mediocre at best, or it's just garbage, So anyway, Dylan, as our special guest, I'm gonna let you start it off.
Oh man, I feel like mine's really gonna make people mad.
Oh wait, or do you want me to have Kag go first in case he picked the same one and you have a backup?
I do have a backup just in case, so I don't care. He can go first if he wants.
All right, Kag Man, you're up.
All right, so I apologize first and foremost because I can almost guarantee this game is probably one of you guys in the group's favorite game or someone in the chat's favorite game. But this game, to me, is highly overrated for a couple reasons. Back when it came out, I didn't think at that time the graphics were all that good. I thought there were other games that had better graphics. The gameplay mechanics in this game, to me, were broken, and the translation in this game was absolutely horrible. It didn't make sense, and when you look at it today, and you go back and you look at the translation, you look at it today, you're like, what the hell were they talking about? That's the most broken translation that I've seen in a game. One of the most broken translations. So you guys are about to get this game, and I think it's overrated. I still think it's overrated. I think it was so many better games from this genre out there, and I can name a few just off the top of my head. Final Fantasy VII. So Final Fantasy VII is one of the most overrated games on PlayStation to date. Still to this day, people think that this game is like the classic of RPGs. There were so many better RPG games than this. This game, to me, was highly overrated. Combat system was terrible to me. The translation was horrible. They definitely didn't make any sense if you look at the real translation in the game. Look at Joel's face. Joel's like, oh my God. So I knew you guys were going to feel that, but the games that came after this in the Final Fantasy franchise were better than this game. I understand your nostalgia. Let me put this down before my hand starts burning. I know it's nostalgia, and I understand that Final Fantasy was like some of you guys' first introduction to a somewhat good RPG, but there were so many better than Final Fantasy. So that's my overrated game. I'm sorry if I hurt you guys' feelings, but that's how I feel, man. And then do this. Everybody that's like telling me that I'm crazy, go and look up the translation for Final Fantasy VII.
This guy are sick. one of the translations, this guy is our sick, is
That
hilarious.
is, dude, it's so bad. And then it'll give you an appreciation of what it should have been.
Mm.
You know, the translation was so bad. So that's my game. Dylan's like, oh shit, I wasn't stepping on that. That is not my game.
No,
That's
yeah,
a tough one, man.
that's a good.
So I apologize, chat. That is mine, and I know you guys are gonna give me shit for it, but guess what? When Final Fantasy VII remake comes out, I'll revisit it, and it'll probably be a good game when the remake comes out. You know,
Like the full thing.
yeah, the whole thing, better graphics, better everything. Will probably be an amazing game at that time. But this was just an overrated game, and it continues to be overrated, man. People just keep saying this is a classic game. There's so many better RPGs right now and back then that, you know, there you go. That's how I feel.
Well, one thing it had going for it, though, it did bring RPGs into the mainstream.
It did. That's the nostalgia thing. You're right, Reggie.
That's the only. But what you were saying about it, man, you're totally right. I can't argue that. You know, it did tug on the heart, though, with certain stuff that happens in that game, mess with people's emotions. But yeah, you're totally right about it, man. That it's pretty bad translation and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Elvis Rose said, "I'm no longer a part of Media Glitch."
People in the chat are dying right now. Let's look at some of these. I know I wasn't going to address the chat, but Kag,
no, go ahead. We got to.
Some feathers. Here we got Kag. You are no longer part of Media Glitch umbrella, senor. And Josh says, I feel personally attacked. This is why you come to our Saturday night shows, so you can be personally attacked by Kag. Violated.
Push. I appreciate that. He said, "Holla Kag, that game sucks. 8 and 9 is better." I'm telling you, man. Like, step away from the nostalgia for a second, right? Like, step away from. And I understand this. So many people's first RPG. Trust me, I understand that. And I like some games that people hate. Like, people think are crappy, like Time Killers. I love Time Killers. It's a nostalgia thing for me. But everybody else, like, that game is crap. It's complete boo-boo. So, listen, I understand where you guys are coming from. But if you step out of that nostalgia and you just look at the game and what it was supposed to be, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, you might agree.
We got 30 people in the chat. 29 of them want to put Kag in a coffin. If you're just joining in, he said Final Fantasy VII is an overrated heap of garbage. Kag, I had never in my mind, in my life, did I ever think you were going to say Final Fantasy VII is an overrated game.
Yeah, man, I truly feel.
But you felt. See, here's the difference, Kag. Real quick, is you don't feel like it doesn't hold up. You feel like the day it came out, when it was getting the praise it was getting, it was undeserved.
Correct.
And you think it was overrated from the jump.
Okay. I just want to go on record by saying I do not agree with Kag on this decision. I think I didn't argue the point because I was just in shock that that would be somebody's overrated game. Now, had I known he was going to argue so much about my choice that's coming up, I would have argued about it. But yes, I just want to go on record by saying I think Final Fantasy is amazing.
Correct. I think it was overrated from the jump. And then when I started playing, I started seeing some inaccuracies in the game, which I see in the chat some people were saying it made them laugh. But I was just like, yo, this is kind of broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point that it doesn't really make any sense, you know? And then the combat system, I wasn't really a fan of back then. And then as time grew, so many better RPGs have come out that game gets dusted, dude. It's nowhere near in my top 10. You know, it's nowhere near my favorite game list not anymore, because so many better games have come out that have surpassed this game in so many ways. But with that being said, I do take into account that so many people in the chat have emotional ties to the game because it was their first RPG and it was something that they experienced that they never experienced before. So I do understand. I don't want to crap on that, but for me, the game could have been better.
So, wow. Okay, right out the gate, Kag slapping the audience in the face. Okay, well, Dylan?
Honestly, I don't know. I think mine might make people just as mad, if not.
Really?
Even more mad, yeah.
I cannot think of a game more beloved to run through the mud than Final Fantasy VII. What are you about to bring to us?
Well, okay, so honestly, I think one of my most overrated games in all of the games that follow it in its series is got to be Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah. So just the premise alone, right? So first of all, like the gameplay, it's just kind of boring to me, honestly. Running through the world with your Pokemon and trying to collect them and going and doing all these battles. It's in the same vein with these RPGs. I feel like it just doesn't have a very compelling story. But secondly, it brings you to like this weird premise, right? So you're in this world filled with Pokemon. Like you got these people and these Pokemon, and they live together. And for a lot of people, like these Pokemon are like their pets, they're animals, like they're somebody that they grew up and loved. And you got this kid who lives in this town in most of these games, and this professor's like, hey, why don't you go out and collect all the Pokemon? And so he goes up to these people that have they just have like this one pet, and that's their favorite pet. And every single time you pull out the most powerful Pokemon that instantly counters just their little pet, their household pet. And you're like, haha, look at me, I won. And so you just got this kid who's like a big jerk running around, beating everybody up with your hundreds and hundreds of Pokemon, which is just unusual, is what it seems like for that world. And I don't know. So the premise is kind of weird. On top of that, it's if you're going to go and try and learn and collect all the Pokemon, I feel like the task is better suited less to the kid and more to the healing facility, where everybody brings in their Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Just have the lady there catalog all the Pokemon that come through to get healed up. Or you got to send a kid out on an adventure. So I don't know. There's a couple of different elements to it that honestly I don't find it to be that compelling of a game, and I don't know. Maybe that upsets people.
I came in late on Pokemon. I did just actually buy a Pokemon game. I just bought this because like I said, I came late in the Pokemon franchise, so I'm trying to try it out. I started on 3DS, I think it was. 3DS is where I started on Pokemon games. And me personally, I think they're good to pass time. It's not a game that I would pick up and be like, it's my favorite. But if you want to pass time and explore and catch all the Pokemon, I think that's what it's good for,
I can't agree nor disagree with you because I have never played a Pokemon game in my life.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Will you now?
That's impressive.
But you know what? Like the chat is not mad at you like they are mad at Kag. Kag is...
Yeah, no, actually, most people are like...
it seems like you have some people that agree with you that Pokemon is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Do you have one, Reggie, or do you want me to go?
I have one.
All right, Reggie, go ahead.
I'm gonna try to be as real brief with this. But my game of choice, that I feel like it's been overrated, even when it first came out. I'm not sorry about this. I don't apologize for anything. I 100% am with this. The Halo series, I am just not with it, man. I never have.
Reggie doesn't care for the Halo series.
Oh, yeah. When I first saw my friend play Halo, I was in the military, and I saw him like playing, and he was getting tore up and blown up, and we were like laughing at him because he was getting like ragdolled. And then I saw I tried to play it, and I was like, dude, I don't get this. Like, I'm not into these characters, the Spartans and all that. Master Chief, like, why is he so popular? I just didn't get it, man. I was like, what is this? I'm reading John's comment. And then I watched my friend. He was playing Halo 2, and he beat the game. And I saw that lame ending that they gave people, and I thought that was so messed up, man. Like, that ending in Halo 2 is, it's laughable if you watch it, And I just never really got on. I tried the series, and I tried it again on Halo 4, which is a bad one to try out from what I'm told. But the trailer looked great for it. It looked like it's going to be an awesome story. If you saw the trailer for it before it came out, but that game was $3 for a reason when I got it out of GameStop. So I will never play a Halo game again. And that was the reason why I didn't play Halo with you guys on that. I didn't make the effort to play with you guys when you were playing on the stream because I secretly don't really like Halo at all. It's not a secret anymore. And now you guys know that not to invite me when you play Halo. So
it looks like Kag agrees with you because he can't stop smiling.
No. Yeah, he 100% agrees with me. I know Kag does. He's got my back on that.
There is no way on earth I agree with you. I'm laughing at John because he said he's going to give all your videos down likes.
Doesn't matter on YouTube anymore.
It's oh, dude, like, you know what? Okay, I got something to say about that, Reggie. And I'm going to say this to the chat too. I wouldn't expect anything different from Reggie. And you want to know why I wouldn't expect anything different from Reggie about Halo? Because I would have never thought that Halo would be Reggie's type of game anyways. From the games I see Reggie play and the things he recommends, I'm going to be honest, I just don't think Halo would have been your cup of tea. So that's why I'm not shocked that you said that. Because I think, and I know Halo is just amazing, but
are you disappointed?
It's you know, I just don't think that's like your cup of tea when it comes to it, because it's a first person shooter along the lines of kind of like, you know, all the classic first person shooters or whatever, but it does have a long history and story. So I'm not mad at that from you, Reggie. Now, if it was like somebody that was heavily into like FPS first person shooters, then I would like be like, yo, what the hell are you talking about? But I'm not that shocked from you, Reggie. You still hurt.
Yeah, I know. I figure I hurt you a little bit. Dylan, you're not mad at me, are you?
What about Dylan?
Not too bad. No, it's the Halo games are about like middle of the road for me, so I can understand.
And Joel,
No, you don't hurt my feelings at all, not one bit. Because Halo to me is, you know, we played Halo the other night, and I haven't played Halo with friends since Halo 2. And it was exactly the same experience. I spawn, someone shoots me, and I die. And then I spawn again, and I'm like, oh, there's a weapon right there. I almost got, and I die. And then that's my experience. Why? Because I suck. I have played the campaigns, and again, it's nothing that I would ever go, man, Halo changed my life, or this campaign was so amazing. I did like Halo 2 a bit more. But like, if you compare it to something like other first-person shooters like Fear, or something that has like elements of monsters and stuff, which is something up more Reggie and my, that's like what games we kind of like, you know. So I mean, you know, you're fighting aliens, you know. Well, I don't hate the game, and I actually, you know, it falls in the middle, like Dylan said, it kind of just falls there in the middle.
No, don't get me wrong. though. I like first-person view games and everything like that. Like one of my favorite ones of all time is Urban Chaos, Riot Response. If you haven't played that game, that was Rocksteady's game before they did the Batman Arkham series. Fantastic game. But Halo just, I just don't get it, man.
So mine that I'm going to bring, I don't know what people are going to think. And someone in the chat already knew what I was bringing. And basically, the game that I think is crazy overrated, that is the new God of War. I think the new God of War is a downgrade of what we have gotten in the past. The fact that it won Game of the Year blows my freaking mind, because it is so boring. And this is what I'll say. Blue X unsubscribe. Okay, I'm pissing people off, man. Okay. And you're wrong, dude. First of all, okay, Intrigue says Joel is right on. Miami says Media Glitch is now my enemy. Okay, listen, I got a list here. I got a list here. Okay, I felt like the combat system, you can go through that game and you can swing, and dodge your whole way through this game. There is no real strategy here. There is no reward. Can you do flashy combos? Yes. Do you need to? No. Why? Because there's no reward for it. Now, back in the day, when you did long combos, when you there was a risk and reward system going on, you would do these combos and they would give you orbs and you could upgrade, you can buy things and stuff like that. None of that's there anymore. There's none of that. They take out all the platforming. There's no platforming. Jump is a quick time event practically now. You know, there's no scaling walls, scaling mountains. All that is I wish I could highlight the chat because people are just so mad right now.
Elvis is not happy.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the new God of War is a bad game, right? What I'm saying is it's a downgrade from where we were. I'm all for changes. But if you're taking out what makes this, the God of War suffers from Last Jedi syndrome, which it's like they took away everything that made Star Wars good, thinking they were actually improving on it, and they didn't. And so I think God of War, they took out a bunch of the things that made God of War and didn't replace it with stuff that improved God of War. There's no magic anymore. Man, like just the beginning is like you're just carrying around a log and you're just walking. Sometimes there's so much walking in this game, I just want to fight someone. But here's the thing, dude, you're gonna fight. If you look at the guy, like if you look at all the monsters in God of War, how amazing it was, and then all we get is like this guy and they color palette swap him. It's like we're back in Golden Axe days, or back in the, you know, where they would just 16-bit 8-bit era where you would fight the same guy but he was a different color. That's what God of War does, you know. And they have some trolls, but those trolls just change colors as well. There's no epic boss fights. There's no real epic boss fights, man. There's, you know what I mean? There's one, that dragon, and you cut his toenails or something, and everything else is a quick. It's barely even a fight. You don't care about any of these enemies. Like when you got to Zeus, or when you got to some of the bad guys in the God of War series, man, you just wanted to kill them. Like you felt that connection, man. It's not there, man. It's not. None of it is there. I feel like the epic scores that we used to get for the God of Wars was replaced by just some, you know, mediocre walking simulator type of score. I don't know if Kag's mad or if he's like, I don't know how to read him right now.
Listen, I'm pleasantly waiting for you to finish, so
okay, hold
I
on.
can let you have it.
The levels are just, it's just rock and mountain, and it doesn't change much, and you get bored of the scenery. Where I felt like the levels back in the day had so much more stuff going for it, you know. The way the camera is, I like it back in the day when it was backed up because you could see everything. And now you have to look for indicators to tell you that there's an enemy behind you to hit you. And I felt like it just dulls the action so much, man. So much. And then let's get to story. What is it? Anticlimactic? Is that how you say that? Or just ending I've ever seen. The boy, I don't want to babysit. This is a babysitting simulator, man. That boy is so annoying. He's such a whiny brat. I just want to punch him in the face. I don't even, I don't condone child abuse, but I would let Kratos slide on this. I would let him slide if he just like decided to backhand that kid, man, you know? It's just, I don't know. There was just, and again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I think if this wasn't a God of War game, it's totally reskinned, and it was just another game, it would be classified as a mediocre game that did some amazing graphics. Now, that's the only thing I think it really brought to the table was the graphics were outstanding and beautiful. And, they make sure you know it because you just walk through this game. You just walk. It's so easy. Besides the fights at the end with the angels, but everything else I felt like is just kind of a walk Nothing really excited me. Nothing moved me emotionally. It was just a mediocre game that looked amazing. That is my overrated game.
All right, so you done, Joe?
I'm done. Go ahead, Kag.
All right, Kag, let me just throw this in real fast, man, because I'm not going to be short. Look, Joel, after playing God of War 3, man, it's hard to top that game. You got to admit. They probably didn't know.
It's like,
I mean, you remember the Poseidon battle? Like that, that was insane. So I give him a little credit, but still, I get what you're saying, man. So, all right, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, so when you go from God of War 1, 2, and 3, you know, that was a build-up of that story of Zeus, the build of getting to Zeus, right? You know, getting to kill him for what he did to you. And the new God of War, the new God of War is an evolution of a new story. This is Norse mythology. This is a different story. It has nothing to do with God of War 1, 2, and 3, like at all, other than Kratos. So Kratos is literally the only thing that this has, and he's in a different world, right? So he's in a Norse mythology, different gods, different things in this world. So playing this game, this is the first game of this new series of games. It's kind of like a reboot, right? So you got to create a story and kind of develop where you're going from you are now. You can't go back. You can't revisit any of that stuff that was in 1, 2, and 3, which those are awesome games. But the funny thing you said is those games are hack and slash, dude. There wasn't really any, like, no payback. I beat all of those games, even the PSP games, and you could take his swords, his blades, and you can hack and slash so many characters and bring them up into the air and like kill them. The only non-hack and slash parts were the bosses. Now you did have some puzzles and stuff where you could traverse through there, but if you played all the way through the new God of War, you will understand that there were a lot of things you could add to your weapons, like runes and a lot of different things you could add to your armor to make him stronger and do other things, customization that you didn't even delve into. And then going through with his kid, yes, he was getting annoying, I'll give you that, but it was a reason in them developing that character and you finding out that your son is Loki. And that's like the next step in the story of where they're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? So that story had so many elements to it. And it was a cinematic. I saw in the inside of the chat here was cinematic, but it was teaching you Norse mythology and what Kratos is doing now in the new world and where he's going from there. The fights, when you fought the Valkyries, that's some of the hard. There was no fight. There was not one fight in God of War 1, 2, or 3 that was as hard as some of the Valkyrie fights. Those fights, they brought it to you. When I say brought it to you, they brought it to you. There was a lot of places that in the world you could traverse when you had to climb up some of those towers to get to the top to unlock things like that. When you got in a boat and you got to actually go to different parts of the world and kind of open up the world into basically like an open sandbox, that was a new element in God of War, right? Everything before was on a rail, you know, so you could only really go one way. So I think that God of War, the new one, is an evolution of it, taking it to a different route. You know, you're never really going to have where the old style, that's PS2, PS3 days. You're onto something better. And the customization in that game was absolutely amazing. When you met the dwarfs or whatever, and each one gave you different elements to upgrade your magic, because there was magic in the game, was just absolutely amazing. And then you could also upgrade your son, and then he had different weapons and different special moves that he could see. So I totally disagree. You already knew I was going to disagree because we had this, like, used to talk about this in this stream. So I'm like, yo, what is he talking about? So that's why I think that the new God of War is just a different flavored cup of tea for a different future. Because you can't go back, man. You can't go back to 1, 2, and 3. It wouldn't sell. You know, they had to change it up for what they're doing now. With the new story.
I understand, and I'm down with them changing things. I just wanted them to change it for the better, not for the worse. You know what I mean? And like all those things that you can upgrade your armor, it's so damn tedious. There's so many little things you got to go through it. And you know, it's like, okay,
I mean, that's any RPG game that you play. If you look at the one you just beat was, close to that. Tales of Arise was close to that. So they put RPG elements in a game that didn't really used to have RPG elements.
Well, here's
so they added that.
But Tales will reward you for doing great things and combos. Where if you have a system in God of War and that's working, there's no reason to, change your gear to do anything. You're just killing guys,
Well,
and what about the lack of guys, Kag? There's not that many guys in this game. They really need to.
They were telling a lot of story as to what was going on. So you are right. I'll give you that for sure. There was a lot of story in this game. And the reason why I didn't give it as much crap about it is because I understand what developers were trying to do. They were trying to set the stage for something or the next series of games in the God of War story. So I kind of understood what they were doing. They're setting the stage. I think each game after this game will be epic. I don't think you'll be babysitting his son,
I hope not.
In the next one, his son now knows who he is. He knows he's Loki. He knows he's a son of the giants and all this other stuff that kind of unfolded at the end, and then them bringing in Thor and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. I don't discredit what you say. Everybody has their own opinions on the games and stuff. So I always take that into account. But me personally, I thought that game was awesome. Because I understand what they're doing. It's not the old. Hey, there's no more Poseidon. There's no more Hercules. There's no more Zeus. Like, who's next now? Because all those characters are dead. So what was left? For
I get all that.
Fall down into a different universe and show up in a different universe. Now he has all new enemies to be able to go after.
And none of them were as big and as epic as back in the day. None of them I really cared about. And I know a lot of it's set up, but that first story in God of War, the very first one, man, that story is amazing.
I'll just say this about it too. God of War, the new God of War is a good cinematic experience, I'm pretty sure. But as far as gameplay and stuff like that, I mean, it gets 2 toes down. I'm sorry, Kag. I know you like the game. But, like I said, but if you look at the longer picture though, I think it's going to be a new trilogy, and perhaps Kag is right that the next games will be more of your liking, Joel. But
that's how God of War the trilogy went. Like 2 was amazing, and then 3 was like, holy cow, you just blew my mind.
3 was phenomenal. I still love 3.
And so where 1, I just feel like it was very mediocre. There's no more platforming. There's no they took away a lot of stuff, but they didn't replace it with stuff that's better. It doesn't feel like a brand new game that I haven't played 1,000 times, except for the graphics. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that it definitely has going for it, and it's overrated. I'm not saying it's bad. I want to make sure the chat understands. I'm saying it's overrated.
Joe, let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
I just want to one question. Did you beat all the Valkyries?
No, because I wanted to get out of that world as fast as possible because I was so freaking bored. Would you play a game that you were just bored, like just straight up bored, and keep playing just to see whatever it takes, the 30 hours that it takes to beat?
I try to play every game till its conclusion before I'm going to tell you if it's shit or not. Because I played games where I hated in the beginning, and then I got to the middle chapter where it opened up a little bit more, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is awesome!"
I can't play games like that anymore. It has to pull me in from the beginning because I just don't have the time.
If I pay for it, I'm gonna give it its due diligence just because I paid for it. So there has been games that have pleasantly surprised me after I thought that it was going to be a bad game. So yes, I do give it its run because I usually pay $60 for it, so I'm going to give it its full run through. Then at the end, I can confidently say this game was trash, but I liked it this about it, and then I liked it this about it, and I didn't like this about it. Mm-hmm. But if I play a game and I only give it an hour, I just don't think I have the right to really say if it's good or not because me personally, I didn't give it enough time. So that's just me. So that's how.
Right, but if I went through the whole campaign, that's pretty good indication of what I think the game should be. Right?
Dylan, have you played God of War, the new one?
I haven't. That's why I'm not.
You're gonna keep it. Are you gonna keep it that way after hearing what
it's like, they've never really interested me, so I don't know if I'll actually go and check them out. I have seen somebody play the new one, and it did honestly look pretty interesting to me. So I can't really weigh in here, but from what I did see of the new one, I was interested in at least checking it out.
So those are our picks. We're gonna turn it over to the chat now.
Yes.
And we want to hear, guys, what do you guys think is overrated? What's a game that you guys find overrated?
Hold on a second, I'm gonna go off camera.
I've seen a couple of people chime in. Somebody said Zelda Breath of the Wild is overrated.
And I don't, I just can't get into it. I don't know if that means it's overrated. I just can't get into it. You know what I mean?
There's like comparing it to some of the other Zelda games that have the more structured experience and the storyline.
I know, Reggie.
I felt like Breath of the Wild was a little weaker than some of the other Zelda games, so I can kind of see where they're coming from on that. I didn't really like the whole system where like you kept on having to collect weapons that kept on breaking.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that really fit the theme of all the other Zelda games. So
okay, here we go. We got Animal Crossing. They say it's overrated.
No, I don't get that game.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, you're not gonna get any fights from us on this one.
My wife
Mario
would hate me if she heard me saying it, but Animal Crossing, I just don't understand. She's got probably 1,000 hours into that game.
Yeah, it's like they're living in another world, I guess, kind of like how people feel about it. I mean, it's cute and everything, but I don't get it.
Mario 64 is overrated.
I totally disagree with that. Like, name a game.
Yeah, I agree too.
Name a game.
I disagree. I mean,
that
100%.
did anything. Name a game before Mario 64 that did what Mario 64 did.
It ushered in a whole new way of gaming.
Yeah, a whole
it's not overrated. It's underrated.
Yeah. Right. That
because
game is
the games that came after it still couldn't do as good a job.
Yep, there are some.
Mario 64.
Yeah.
There are games better than Mario 64 that are not Mario.
Now. But what I'm saying is the games that followed to try to do what they did couldn't do it as good.
Right.
And it wouldn't be until years later that they figured it out.
I still think Mario 64 is due a proper remaster.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about cleaning up the edges. I'm talking about they need to, like they did Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. That game needs a proper remaster, like they did
done something like that in the past.
The Legend of Zelda is
I don't think they've
the one
done
I
that.
love. Can't remember the name of it right now. I love that.
Skyward Sword.
No, not Skyward Sword. One that just came out on the Switch. I was
Breath of the Wild.
No, not Breath of the Wild.
Hyrule Warriors.
No.
Oh no! You're talking about Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Oh, okay.
That is a remake. Yeah. Is that the only
remake.
time they've done that?
That was good.
I think
Like
so.
that one, yeah. I don't even have, man. I haven't even played it.
Like an amazing game. No, I don't want a real.
So VG Legend says the Mortal Kombat series as a whole is overrated. The first two were amazing. Then there's 50 Foot of Crap in the middle, and then MK11 is awesome. So here I agree and I disagree. I think Mortal Kombat 1, 2 are amazing. I think Ultimate was pretty great. Not 3. There's a difference. Ultimate. 4, 5, all these other ones are just pretty much mediocre.
Yeah.
But when you get to Mortal Kombat 9 on the PS3, they're freaking rocking again.
Yeah.
X is epic.
Yeah.
And 11 was just like, it almost felt like they brought it back to the goodness of 2. So I feel like I agree and I disagree on that. So Tyler, this says Dark Souls is overrated. Bloodborne and Demon Souls were better.
No way.
I don't like playing games that I have to pay with blood, because I felt like in that game the graphics look good, but when I say play with blood, it's like they brutalize you, man. Those are some of the hardest games I've ever played.
Yeah, this is what John would. If John was on the show, he would have came with Minecraft, and I would have argued that.
Yeah, that's not overrated.
He's probably hella pissed at us.
Just play with Legos. Wait, yeah, that's exactly kind of what you're doing. So you're making your own fun in so many different ways with Minecraft. It's kind of whatever you want to do with it. is the enjoyment you get out of it with Minecraft. It offers that flexibility, which I think is really cool.
Okay, so here's a diss to everything we said today.
Okay.
Everything we said tonight. The biggest diss comes from a simple samurai. I will highlight his comment. Coming from the guys that like Operation Raccoon City.
Oh yeah, I love that game. Yeah.
We may be the only people that still play Operation Raccoon City. A game
We are.
that was totally hated, panned by critics. But you know what? You guys don't know what you're missing. You just don't know what you're missing. So, well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. That was I know we made a lot of people mad today. We may have lost some fans. We may have, who knows? Friendships might be over. It's hard to say. I don't know how Kag's going to look at me now because I don't like God of War. And I don't know what to think of Kag for saying Final Fantasy is overrated.
He's evil.
But anyway, let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think. What is your top overrated game? And come on over on Saturday nights. We're over here on Twitch. So I'll leave all the descriptions for these guys' channels in the description below. Did I say that right? No, in the comment section below. Something like that. You guys know, man. It's like regurgitating the same damn thing every YouTube video, man. We're doing this for 10 years. You guys understand, right? Everyone understands. We're out. Thank you so much. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. Like I told my last wife, I says, honey, I never drive faster than I can see. Besides that, it's all in the reflexes. I'm not saying that I've been everywhere and I've done everything. But I do know it's a pretty amazing planet we live on here. And a man would have to be some kind of fool to think we're all alone in this universe.